Cool. So this is my regular headphone regular mic now, and then I'm gonna turn it on now. See what's going on. Testing. A lot clearer?
Yeah, dude. But yeah.
Like significantly?
Yeah, like very significant.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Real Talk. We're your hosts, Steven, and then my brother Tyler on the other side. And we're happy to be here again. Today's topic is about habits, especially the habits we have at night before we wind down to bed. You know, some of us have rituals, routines, or must-dos that we have to do before we can even be at a peace of mind and relax and go to sleep. Now, it seems for some that are night owls can have a harder time sleeping early, regardless of whatever we do to relax before bed. But, you know, we still have some routine we have to take care of on the regular before calling it a night, right? So even if you don't sleep at all, or, the sun sets at the same time for all of us, assuming that we're all on the same coast, but you know what I mean? And we have to take care of those nighttime rituals, whatever it may be. So in this episode, we're going to have a quick and lighthearted conversation about what we must do before we transition from the day to the bedroom or wherever we choose to call it a day. And as always, before we begin, we're going to do a quick check-in around the virtual table, kind of checking the vibe, before we even begin. So Tyler, how's it going with you today, man?
Going well. I think, I said I think. I don't know where I was going with that, but no, everything is going well. Today was a little slow, but saw a couple of my former student employees. They stopped by to drop a couple things off, just because again, we're random things, like we're in this pandemic still technically. So when we first went into it, my student worker was a sophomore, and by the time we came out of it, he had graduated. So there was kind of a very weird lull to where, we didn't see them on their graduation or anything like that. So we, he had stopped by and just dropped off his key that he used at work. And we just haven't seen him since, March of 2020, essentially. So it was kind of a bittersweet type of moment, because it's almost like a blast from the past. Because, when you came back to in person at work and everything, it was very much a same but different feeling. And I think, it felt the same, even though it was like 18 months, but then, everything around you with people and all that were different. So I think it was cool to see him, cool to catch up with him, and talk with him and everything. But it was just very different, because it was bittersweet in the sense of like, oh, that's kind of the last little thing, little piece from prior to the pandemic at work that kind of just, finally closed that chapter of that, because we've collected everything else from all the other students as they kind of trickled in toward the beginning of the school year or something, and whatnot. So it was definitely kind of a weird feeling, it was like kind of actually like officially closing the door or ending the chapter on that part of like, the work life, beginning of 2020. And here we are at the end of 2021. So it's crazy, just same but different kind of thing, but just 18 months apart. And you're just like, oh, well, this was kind of weird. It was cool to see you, cool to catch up to you, but it doesn't feel like we haven't talked to you in basically like 2 years,
And yeah, no, that's crazy. I agree with you in the sense that today just felt like a strange long day. If anything, I only been outside a couple of days, but it was like getting wet and windy here. For those who are listening, we like to record this early in the week. And so tomorrow is the 1st of December. How crazy is that? So,
it's crept up on us, man.
Right, man. And so who knows what's going to be like. I feel like I still have a lot of plans, a lot of things to take care of for the end of the year. So it's going to be an interesting one. It's crazy. We are in the last month of the year 2021. Let's get into it. All right, Tyler. So let's start with this lead question. How do you wind down for the night? What are your must-do routines before settling into bed?
Yeah. Man, I would say before settling into bed, I guess it depends on the night. I kind of have a couple different routines that I do. Usually same-ish. I might check my phone just to make sure everything's good. Definitely set my alarm before I go to bed. But as far as like winding down, just depends on the mood I'm in. I would say it's either like watch TV for a little bit before I get up, brush my teeth, and then go to bed kind of thing. There are definitely nights where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to play a game. So I'm either on my computer or like my Switch or something like that to kind of wind down from the evening and day kind of thing. And then brush my teeth, go to bed. Obviously, brushing my teeth is just the before the bed thing. And then there's other nights where, I just want a quiet, easy, relaxing kind of wind down where maybe I'll read. So yeah, those are kind of my three, I would say, reading or checking my phone on just a couple things, or playing games of some sort with friends, or even with Allie, sometimes just playing a video game or something, and just chilling, just kind of an easy wind down. I think thinking back when I was doing 75 hard, there was a lot of days where my wind down ended up being my 45-minute workout at the end of the night before midnight. And then I'm like, all right, well, that didn't really wind me down, to kind of put more adrenaline in me. And then I'm like, but I have to go to bed. So it was kind of a weird sensation and feeling. I usually would read while I was working out, because most of the nights I was finishing off on the bike or something for 45 minutes. And then I would just read a book while I was doing that. Cause that's one of the things too, is just reading like 10 pages of a book and stuff. So, yeah, so that's kind of my three things I would say is how I wind down.
Yeah.
It kind of just depends on the night.
Yeah. No, yeah, seriously. It's funny how, like, a lot of this stuff now, unless you just live a very hectic lifestyle, nothing wrong with that, but you're like your day to day is just constantly. Maybe you're a traveler, you're traveling constantly from city to city. Who knows? But it's funny how we don't really think about certain things anymore, winding down for the night, but it just becomes like automatic, robotic even. For example, I mean, two of the things you had in the head, like for me winding down, I have to, physically check my calendar, make sure, did I clear everything for the night? Am I done with everything? Can I push it to tomorrow? Do I want to push it to tomorrow? Because, the old saying, why do tomorrow when you can do today kind of thing. So it's like, all right, mentally, things that I set for myself today on my calendar, can I clear it off or can I push it off? Is one of the things. And yeah, before I even get to bed, man, there's, no matter where I am in the world, I don't know, maybe not when I'm camping, but I have to shower and brush my teeth. It sounds so simple, right? But some people don't. Some people like only shower in the morning, and so like, that's a routine. But for me, it's very hard for me to go to sleep if I don't feel like physically clean, and so it's one of those things where like taking a shower just kind of resets me and allows me to just be comfortable. And brushing my teeth, I'm gonna be honest, man. Our favorite people are the dentists, always judging you when you stuff like that. I used to be pretty peculiar about like, just brushing my teeth like at least daily, but I don't know, maybe recently as I'm getting older, I've never had cavities, knock on wood. And nothing significant. I did have braces, but that was it. But just like over time, like at least in the past, 2-3 years, I just made it a habit where, I got to brush more thoroughly at night. And because before I could be like, man, I'm too tired, I'll just shower, jump into bed, whatever, I'll brush my teeth in the morning. Now it's like, I can't, physically sleep unless I shower and brush my teeth. So that's another thing. And And then finally, just as recently in the past year, I started learning how to moisturize, my face and everything. For most guys, like you don't think about that you need to take care of your skin and yourself, but you do. So it's funny how like now that I'm thinking about instilling these habits, they're all health related, right? Taking a shower for cleanliness, dental, and just taking care of my skin in terms of moisturizing and stuff like that. And so those are all stuff that I must do before winding down. I agree. I got to read every night or I got to read every day. But those are things that I'm like, I'm not gonna die if I miss 10 pages today. I could just do it the next day, but I may feel like I'm gonna die if I don't shower, brush my teeth, and take care of my skin before I go to bed. So that kind of leads me to the next thing, like Tyler, like with what you do, and maybe you have now that you had time to sit on it while I'm talking. You came up with thought of other routines or or what do you call it, rituals that you got to do before you go to sleep. But how did these habits get ingrained in you?
That's a good follow-up. I would say I think for me, because the day sometimes escapes me, right? I think that as I was growing up, with everything, there was a lot of free time. You were very, well, I say you, but me speaking personally to you as the listeners and whatnot. I was a very active person. I was a very athletic person. When I was in school, always active. I was doing my homework, did all that stuff when I got home. All that is stressful, obviously, but sports, that was always a thing. But I feel like, when you're younger, you kind of get into kind of a routine. Like you could either get home, fall asleep right away because, get home, scarf down food, 20 pounds worth and go to sleep and not gain anything, but we can't do that when we're older. We put those pounds on just by looking at food late at night. But I think that's the biggest thing. It kind of started young. You eat and then you kind of just chill, or you play video games because that was what teenagers did in their free time. I can't say everyone, but there's definitely a good number of teenagers that growing up after class and school and homework and stuff, if you did your homework, I'm not saying that everyone did their homework, but for the most of us that did homework, video games were a treat after it if you had, a console or something or a phone. And I think I was kind of the same way in college. Did that, and outside of hanging out and getting home super late and just passing out kind of thing because you're so exhausted. I think that was kind of my way, at least, of kind of winding down for the evening. I know once we graduated, the core group of people that I always hung out with and did raids on video games and stuff on Destiny, we would hop on and get a 6-person raid going. And that was kind of the time that we got to spend with each other when we were in college. And then after college, that was how we hung out. So, all of us kind of went our separate ways and either did grad school or were in the military or were doing their own thing in a different state. So the 6 of us, there was, they were kind of all over East Coast, Southern California, Midwest, maybe somewhere in Washington, but not like directly like next door kind of thing, or in the same city. And that was kind of the way we hung out. I know some people like back then when I was doing it, some people might get upset like, oh, you're always on there, always online. You never like hang out with us, or you never hang out with me, or you never talk to me at night. And I'm like, to be fair, like I hop on for maybe an hour and a half with these 5 other guys because I don't get to see them every day. These are some close friends that I used to talk to every day, used to see every day, but now we're living in different places. One guy's on the East Coast, so he's 3 hours ahead. So it's not like he's going to stay up past midnight so we can play video games and everything, So we would hop on for an hour, maybe 2 hours, and just kind of, goof around and talk, and that was kind of our way of hanging out. Um, so that kind of started that, I think, is just kind of winding down with friends and having conversations and then just playing video games, because I think that was a kind of relaxing end to the night, unless you were playing a competitive game like Call of Duty or person versus person situations in Destiny or Halo or whatever it is. Just because you go hard, you get sweaty, and sometimes you get frustrated. So other than that, it was a pretty cool way to wind down. And I think once I got busy enough with just life, life after college, it's like, oh yeah, you're out of college. I don't have to worry about staying up late doing homework and doing all that. Um, you get adulting, right? I can't adult today. That's a popular saying. Just there's so many things that once you get out of college and you're doing all these things, you're working, you're getting home, you have to cook dinner, you have to eat dinner, and by that time you want to have time to wind down from work before you eat dinner, but then you want to wind down after dinner because if it was a long day. And then sometimes you go to sleep and sometimes whatever, and you don't necessarily hang out with people or talk to people as much as you used to, kind of thing. The life of an adult, right? If you have kids, if you have, your significant other, your partner, your pets, you spend time with them, but there's not much time to really wind down by yourself. So I think that's kind of what we've done. What I've done and what we've kind of implemented, at least for us, is just kind of either just, spending time together, but watching TV and kind of zoning out, vegging out a little bit, playing video games, sometimes talking to people. But I feel like that's kind of how I got into that per se. And yeah, I think that's kind of how I got into the routine. It's just that it's something that I went away from for a long time. But then, obviously with the pandemic, I think it brought it back a little bit more because, I'll be honest, I didn't get to play video games all that much. Once you get to a certain point in life, a lot of people just lose touch with the things that they used to do all the time and had fun with. But I think with the pandemic, and we've had a couple episodes about this too, during the pandemic, just gaming in general. Like why was there a sudden increase in gaming? Well, because there was literally nothing else to do. We couldn't go outside. We couldn't go to stores. We were in lockdown. You were with your partner or kids or whatever 24/7 at that point. Couldn't really escape them. So, the best way is just to engross yourself into a game like Animal Crossing or sports or whatever. Like I said, we've had these conversations before. We've had these episodes before. You can go listen to those. Those were our very early episodes of us just goofing around. But I digress. It's just, I think with the pandemic, it brought a little bit of that back. So we kind of implemented that back in, and it was just kind of a relaxing way to end the day, so we've kind of kept with it, and it's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll keep it short with mine. Kind of what I mentioned, like my rituals, my routines, showering, brushing teeth, moisturizing. Those are habits that kind of over time, it became ingrained in me from just doing it daily, just telling myself, all right, this is the healthiest thing to do. Because my future older self would thank me for this. And so, take care of my body now, take care of myself now. And so those are things that I remind myself and just keep doing daily, where the habits just become ingrained in me, where it's like, now it's just automatic. I can't sleep if I don't shower, brush my teeth, moisturize. So, the hope is that when I'm now feeling like I can't sleep, the hope is like, okay, maybe my body's naturally telling me, go wash your stinky ass and go shower, or, go brush your teeth, or maybe brush your teeth again because maybe you missed your tongue. Who knows? Or maybe your skin's just feeling really dry. So, go moisturize. Maybe that's going to help you sleep. So those are things. Now, following up into kind of our kind of like last question of the night, this is kind of a brain teaser like we like to do. as we know, sometimes if we think realistically from the outside looking in, sometimes the habits that we do as humans or the rituals we do sometimes aren't always efficient, but it's things that just become ingrained in us that we do over and over again, right? They say, insanity is doing the same things over and over again, hoping for a different result. So it's one of those things where like sometimes we don't even realize it. So now think about your habits, Tyler. Like, do you feel like there's any room for improvement in your habits, or do you feel like there's habits that you can remove that you feel like is detracting from just making you more efficient in life? So talk about that. Is there things that you feel like you can improve on habit wise, especially as it relates to winding down for the night? Or do you feel like there's habits that you can remove to make make your night a little more efficient?
Yeah, I think you can go either way. Honestly, I think if I want to be more productive before going to bed, I can easily pull one of the things. Um, Also, I'll add Duolingo is one of my rituals before bed. I usually try to do that right before bed. Keep my brain fresh. Um, but I would say like I can go on with a lot of these things without doing that. Sometimes you get into a mood where you just maybe you want to clean before bed. You know what I mean? Like that's how you feeling that night or whatever. Or you decide to organize the closet or something. I don't know. Um, I think it really just depends on how you're feeling, how you're reading the situation, what you want to do before bed. There are definitely nights where I'm like wide awake. So like gaming sometimes makes me tired, or watching certain things make me tired, or even doing like cleaning that, when I want to be productive. When I'm tired though, like, it doesn't really matter if I do any of those things other than brush my teeth and get ready for bed that way. But I could easily interchange most of those things. I think, 9 times out of 10, we don't always get to like game or any of that stuff, but there's usually at least a little bit of TV watching and then a little bit of reading before bed, but it's all interchangeable. I wouldn't say that there's anything I can really add to improve it or take out to improve it. I think the system now it works well for what it is. I will say like sometimes, and this is all schedule based, what I'm saying. So like we obviously in our household, we don't have the same work week. I might work Monday through Friday, but she might work Wednesday through Saturday. So her days off are the days that I have to go in. So it's really just adjusting to that. So I would say the hard part there, is obviously when someone doesn't have to work the next day, they want to stay up and they want to hang out and they want to do that stuff. So they might stay up late. Whereas, they want to spend time with you and all that. And then you have to make a conscious decision. Do I do this, have fun, hang out and keep the happiness up there? Or do I, for the sake of my health, go to bed, because I know that's happened a couple times in as far as like fixing things, that's just something to consider, but that's at my own fault and own risk, really. When you're having fun and you want to hang out with your partner or whatever, and maybe they don't work the next day, but they want to hang out, maybe you stay up with them because they're wide awake, and they want to, play games or do something until like 2 a.m. And by the time it gets to 2 a.m., you're like, oh crap, I have work tomorrow. What the heck am I doing? So, it's one of those things. There's sacrifices to be made. And I think that's really on a weekly basis. Sometimes you'll choose to make that sacrifice and just be like, you know what, there's nothing going on tomorrow at work as far as like super crazy. So I can probably get through the day on 5 hours of sleep. Or I have a lot to do. I'm going to bed. I need my 7 hours of sleep kind of thing. So yeah, I would say that, yeah, I'm pretty chill across the board. I don't think I necessarily need to add anything that makes it better or take anything away. I think you kind of play it by ear, really. Yeah. Pretty,
Yeah.
open. You keep an open mind about it,
Right, right. Yeah, it's hard to talk about it like in the span of this moment. But it's one of those things where like, if you feel like it's not making you feel more efficient, see what you can do to cut it out. If you could build those habits, you kind of rebuild another habit, right? And just kind of grow into another thing. So right now, at the top of my head, I probably can't think I probably can just say that what I'm doing now is fairly efficient, like brushing my teeth, before I sleep. Um, by next Monday, who knows? I have my next dentist appointment, so we'll see if there's positive news. And so that means that when you get positive feedback from a professional like that, that has to mean that your habit is going in the right direction. So, getting personal feedback like that from others, can see if you're if you have good efficiencies in your habits or it's detracting, and you need to improve on it. So, and even though this is in the context of what we do winding down, this is something that can be applied to a majority of your habits in every part of your life. So and so Tyler, any kind of final words on the topic of the night, or any final thoughts while we wrap it up for tonight?
um I would say just, do what kind of makes you happy as far as how it goes. Some people might want to wind down a different way than you do. Maybe you want to be an efficient person at the end of the day, or maybe you want to just veg out and do absolutely nothing because you had a long day. It really just depends on what it is. But at the end of the day, you make that call. If you want to be productive and do all these things right before bed, because that's how you ease your mind to go to bed, awesome. If you want to play games and just veg out or watch TV or whatever it is you do, that's also an option too. It is what you make it every night. And some nights are better than others, some nights are worse than others. So it really just kind of falls on you when it comes down to what you make of your night and what you make of your routine. So
Nice. Well, thanks y'all for listening today. Now it's your turn to tell us about how do you wind down for the night? What are your must-do routines? What are your rituals that you do before settling into bed? And let us know, how do those habits get ingrained in you? We'll love to know. Lastly, do you feel like, take a self-reflection, do you feel like these are things that you can improve on, or do you feel like you could just get rid of it because it just detracts from your daily life? Who knows? Let us know. Let us know, because most importantly, that's how we keep growing. Always keep the dialogue going. That is how we learn and grow. Keep discussing, keep thinking, and keep growing. And we'll see y'all next time.
yeah, and if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to help us out. Share it with a friend, put it on your social media, leave a comment, whatever that might be, and follow us on our social media. And if you want to listen and share it, we're on Spotify, Apple, and all the major podcast streams. So just yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.